Hello, Loveland High School. Welcome back to Fireside Chat with one of our fabulous staff members again. And we're just going to let her introduce herself. We're going to get going on questions.
Hello, I am Mrs. Silva, and I teach English. I'm distracted. I know. I teach English, and I run the yearbook program.
And we love you. So
thank you. I love you guys, too.
One of our more book readers that we love interviewing.
Imagine that, an English teacher being a book reader.
Oh,
crazy.
What? Okay, so tell me about the title of the book.
Okay.
And the fit, the cover art, like what's all that about?
Oh, everything about this book is perfect.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Perfect book.
Yes, Ken Follett, Pillars of the Earth. And it's a fabulous book that, yes, the title fits perfectly because it talks about, the whole thing is this wonderful woven tapestry of characters and storylines, but it all centers around the building of a cathedral in 12th century Europe. And so they're physically building these pillars, but there is also the societal pillars that they discuss in here through the church and through the nobility and even just in everyday village life.
Sounds like a pretty cool place to be. Would you like to have been there at that time?
Kind of not. No.
Kind of not.
No. Yeah, I think the scariest statement in here was when they talked about how, good families teach their children they need to bathe at least once a year.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, so
I don't do body odor, so I'm not sure I want to go visit.
So the symbolism.
Yeah.
In the book.
Did
you pick up on that? And what was the message from the author that they were like, what's the purpose of this?
So I would say the message that is being shared in this particular book, they really explore the hierarchy that existed in Europe at the time, and I would argue kind of still does, the societal hierarchy, and that people don't get their value based on birth, that good people are good people based on who they are, their heart, and that good people can be peasants and rise up out of nowhere, and nobility can be not so lovely, even though they are born into a place of honor.
Well, there's a message for you.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So you're glad you read it?
Very much so.
And how long did it take you to read the 600, 900 pages?
So here, let's actually look. How many pages is it? We are talking 973 pages.
Okay.
Oh, it's a biggie.
Be scared.
It's a big one. So it took me quite a while because the first time I read it, I did not really like reading, and somebody said, you have to read this book, and I'm like, I have to what?
Yeah.
And it's such a complicated storyline, and there's so much at the beginning to introduce everything, so much exposition, as it were, that you can get a little bogged down at the beginning just learning everybody and trying to remember who everybody is. So it took me a couple of months to get through it, but once I got into it, then it was kind of that all-nighter kind of book. It just sucks you in, and you really love it. But it's a bit of a slow starter, I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
And like I said, I didn't love to read before I read this.
And now I understand you're reading the prequel to this.
I am.
How's
Thank
that
you.
going?
It's it's interesting because it's so not the same book. I haven't figured out the tie yet.
Okay.
Like this one starts, you learn all the characters and everything, and these same characters kind of continue on and develop and in the next two, because I have already read the trilogy of this, but now there is a prequel, and I haven't found the attachment yet. There's some similarities in terms of places that have been brought up, but there hasn't been a tie-in to the people. But it's still the same, just fascinating book, fascinating characters.
So you like the
storyline?
Writes?
Yes, I love this author.
Style. Okay.
Ken Follett does some amazing work. I've read several of his pieces. Most of his stuff are marathon reads.
I like that. Marathon reads.
Marathon reads, yeah, which I like. This is my style of marathoning because, but I like his stuff because his characters are rich and his storylines are fun to follow, and there's always kind of that what next sort of thing going on that just keeps you going.
So let's speak to a character. Now, it doesn't even have to be somebody you like. Pick somebody you really enjoyed or somebody you're like, are you kidding me?
Well,
like, did you have a...
So there's 3 characters in here that stand out the most. There's a young man named Jack who you get introduced when he's pretty much a toddler and he doesn't speak and he's scrawny and he's kind of weird. But he's just got this heart of gold and you love him. And he and his crazy wild mother live out in the wilderness and by themselves and she's kind of considered a witch. But he grows up and you love him.
Okay.
And there's a woman in here, I don't remember her name, but she was born into nobility but then lost. Their family was like kicked out and she was taken down to nothing, and she and Jack end up together and it makes you super happy.
So a little romance.
Going on.
Lovers.
But at the same time there's
history.
Also she was originally supposed to marry this other young man who his family is the one that kicked her out of her family out of their earldom. And we hate him.
Okay.
And we want him to just lose everything, but he just keeps going.
Ugh.
He keeps winning.
Okay,
and it makes you so mad. Yes.
At the book.
Yes, you're just like, no, not again!
Well, thank you for sharing your insight to this book.
Thank you so much.
Is there something that I haven't asked you that you're like...
Oh, gosh. Well, I would say if you like history, if you're a history person, this book is wonderful because it really, really helps you feel like you are living in, the 12th century Europe. It just brings the way they live. I mean, just every day, like how they cooked meals is in there, and it's fascinating. So if you're a history person and not so much a fiction person, you'll still love it because it is just a lively historical fiction.
I'll be honest, I will give it a try.
You should.
I'll give it a try.
Do it. You'll love it.
But we love books.
Yes, we do love books. There is also a miniseries, but read the book first. Always read the book first. Always the book first.
We'll agree with it.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Silva, thank you so much for your time. You're
Thank
lovely,
you.
and we're so happy to have you here with our chat at the
My pleasure. I will do this as many times as you want.
So come to the library. We have books.
They have books.
Okay, Loveland High. Have a good one. Till next